Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. In today's video, today is Friday, which means that later on today there is going to be a blog post. There has been some details in the data mine that will tell you about some of the things that are upcoming, some of which we already know, which we're going to take a look at as well. Namely, the Thunderstrike raids will be starting next week. We also have the release of Wolfsbane, who should be in the blog about coming out early next week, as well as the first member of the New Mutants. We also have some information about SENTRY Red Stars coming to the game already, and I was thinking to myself, I guess I'm not going to be unlocking him, but there will be some people, like in the top 100 alliances or so, probably, that will be, which means that he's going to be coming back around. Century City is going to be coming back around maybe next week, but they're kind of preparing for this anyways. And it sounds like it's going to be a Red Star release, which was similar to the original Null Red Star releases, where you just log in and do an auto battle or something, with them in order to get the Red Stars. So it's not going to be me, because unless they give away some free Sentry shards, it's going to be a small amount of players who actually have them for the first month. Anyways, all that and more in today's video. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Okay, so I do want to just, I guess, first jump to the data mines. We'll just start there, right? So we do have the Thunderstrike raids coming next week, and that is your Stormbound characters. We're going to talk about this, right? So it is an alliance-based activity. However, it's mostly individual for the most part. It is going to be more like those normal annihilation raids, where everyone gets their own lane. You can do as many nodes as you want. But realistically, it is your individual participation that is going to net you your red stars. And then it's going to be the optional boss nodes that are going to give you some other Skyforged runes, which are going to give you like aesthetic crap. If you like the player profile frames and things like that. So there's two different milestones that are going to be running. We'll talk about this in a little bit more detail soon. We talk about the characters that you probably should be considering for this. We have the live Stolen Thunder Month 2. There's some more details about that down below. I think if they don't have the Stormbound trait in the game right now, it should be coming in very soon, because it is in the files. Skyforged Runes and then Boss Skyforged Runes. So basically it's just two different currencies that's going to reward the solo stuff here, which is for the Red Stars and Awaken Ability materials. I guess over the weekend they probably will have the actual Thunderstrike raid map out, and that's something we can talk about in a separate video, maybe on Saturday, if it's out by then. And then they talked about Thunderstrike health packs, although they did say for the first run of it that you're not going to be able to heal, so it's going to be a one and done kind of thing. And my biggest concern is going to be the Stormbound trait, because that is there's going to be 3 nodes, I think, for that one. We'll talk about that in a moment, though. So they have some descriptions, basically command center stuff. Rolling Thunder. I don't know if we really need to talk about this too much, to be honest. The Thunderstrike raid was we'll talk about the nodes on this, but otherwise this is just about that, just giving you a rundown of the command center. This is kind of new. Stolen Thunder Month 2. Log in to earn Thunderstrike shards. Prepare for Thunderstrike raids with Gear Tier 20 teams. Like, they're basically just saying that like this is endgame content, and that you should have Gear Tier 20 teams. So this is going to be pretty interesting. It is going to have a difficulty slider, though, is what we were told, right? So hopefully that there's still a way forward for some of us to be able to get. I guess where I'm concerned is the Stormbound teams, because I think the only characters that I have are Brimstone, and are Brimstone strong enough to clear 3 nodes, because they're not actually a raid team. I think they really want you to be using the immortal weapons, so because they should get raid bonuses, right? Because this is a raid. So that's something to talk about as well. Earn Thunderstrike's awakened abilities. Wolfsbane is live. Wolfsbane joins the New Mutants, and then some of the objectives basically in the command center for month 2: play raids, play Crucible with mutants. This should be doable, but do keep in mind that for a full team, this would be something like Immortal X-Men, I guess. Right? I don't know how many full mutant Crucible teams there really is, so hopefully this is not that difficult to clear. And then Crucible with Wolfsbane, Cannonball, Warlock at Gear Tier 20 and 5 yellow. Now, I do want to point out that I basically don't have Lady Bullseye yet, which was from month one, and like I won't even be able to like free to. This is not free to play, just because you won't be able to really get this before the month is out for most of the characters because it's 3 weeks now in the store, right in the currency store. Now, this is interesting. The 12 days of GROOTMAS. Now, I don't remember if they ran this last year or not, but anyways, there's going to be some 12-day celebration. Play every day and open exciting gifts, and then guess what's on day 12? Now, I don't know if this is going to be like Christmas Eve or when they're going to start to run this in December, but I don't know. We'll see, right? This is Scopely, so I'm going to expect a low bar here, and if we get something really cool, then all the better. There is the talk about the SENTRY Red Stars here. So Golden Guardian, earn SENTRY Red Stars. Description about SENTRY, who's going to be powerful in Crucible. Honestly, I didn't know SENTRY was designed to be a Crucible character, but there we go. Maybe I haven't read too much into him, at least the player version of him, because I'm not going to be getting him for another month. But I suppose you're going to see maybe some top content creators or whatever using him, sooner than I am because I'm not going to have him unlocked. And then upgrade your Brimstone to excel in Sentry City. We kind of knew that. The full Brimstone team does pretty well damage-wise in Sentry City, so I imagine that this is going to be coming back soon. Unlock the Golden Guardian event in the Command Center and play every day to earn Sentry Red Stars. Now, from what I remember, when Null came out, you didn't get the Red Stars until you actually had the character unlocked. So I think only the players who are going to have Sentry unlocked are actually going to see this Golden Guardian event for Red Stars, but we'll see what ends up happening with regards to this. The rest of this is just Thunderstrike stuff, right, which we'll talk about now. So that's it for those data mines. Let's just jump back in. I'm using the web playable for some reason. I don't know why. But for this video, I am. Normally I do this from my emulator. But anyways, is it in game right now? Is the chapter 3? Did they add? Oh, they did add it. Okay, so it is in the game right now. So it's worth mentioning that we're gonna need the Stormbound characters, right? But because it's a raid, I think the best characters, which obviously we are not able to field free to play, but that would probably be the immortal weapons, right? Because it is a raid team and you're running a raid, and most likely these are gonna be the best characters, even when it comes back for a second time. It's probably gonna look like something like that you're gonna want to use the immortal weapons team to do that. But unfortunately, Lady Bullseye is just going on the market in the Sigil store today, I think, on Friday here today. And then the rest of the 2 characters are not actually available. So I'm going to have to be using my Brimstone team, which I do have, at 6 yellow, 5 yellow, and almost 6 for Living Mummy. Gear tier 20, actually, on a 3 out of 5. But is this going to be enough to do 3 Stormbound nodes? And that's something that I want to take. We're going to take a look at the blog when it comes to that before. Now, I want to talk about Chapter 1 as far as the Harbinger characters. I think there's only 1 node for Harbinger and 1 node for the Conquerors. There's lots of characters that you can use. If you have Fantastic Four, probably you're going to be able to blow that up with 1 node. But also, you would want to keep in mind that raid bonuses would be active. So if you have Vigilantes, for example, they should blow it up as well. So there's a lot of raid characters from Chapter 1. It shouldn't be that difficult. Chapter 2 for Conquerors, like, again, you could use. I would probably avoid using Brimstone because you're going to need to use them in the Stormbound nodes. But you would have basically the Insidious 6 that should be available, and there would be Hellfire Club as well. So these are raid characters that you basically should have built up at this point. But I want to kind of pivot back to the blog post related to that because it does kind of, especially the map, right? Now, what's interesting is that it does say that the Thunderstrike raid is going to run for 6 days total. We have the actual date, right? Isn't it like they actually give the date on that one? I wanted to double check that. Yeah, December the 2nd. What day is that? December the 2nd. That's going to be on Tuesday. Okay, so that's important to note. But I want to lay out the map layout. Let's take a look at this. Oh my god, it's so bright. But anyways, if we zoom in a lot, we can kind of move this around. So essentially, nodes 1, which is, let's go to full screen mode. My apologies. Basically, no restriction, Stormbound. So node 1, no restriction. Node 2, Stormbound. Node 3, Harbinger. Then there's an optional boss, which sounds like you can skip this, right? And then just move back to the regular, the layout here. Stormbound again, Conqueror, optional boss 2, Stormbound 3. Oh, there's 4 Stormbound nodes. Dear God. Okay, so my only concern about is this is going to be. I think this might be really hard for Brimstone, and I don't think there's going to be war mods for this. So basically, they're running without the war mods. This has a potential to basically be forcing you to not do very well, essentially, if you're running Brimstone only, because it's probably designed for the immortal weapons. That being said, there should be a difficulty slider, so it's possible that for the Stormbound nodes to do well, that maybe I can do the higher difficulty on the first node, and then the rest of them I'm going to have to do like one difficulty down, basically, to make sure that my Brimstone are able to clear it and not get their ass kicked. But that's important to note. The rest of them should not be that bad. I'm just a little bit concerned when we see the actual enemies on the nodes. We might be able to talk about that as well, because that might be around for about Saturday or something to do a video this weekend. And so that's something to keep in mind, that if you haven't invested in your Brimstone yet, uh, unless you've bought the immortal weapons, you should be fully investing into your Stormbound characters. So that's going to be really important. I'm not sure. Can you use Quasar and stuff in like you can? Okay, so you can use Quasar, Blastar, and Thunderstrike. Now, are they going to actually get the tag, though? That's the other thing. So I don't know if they will, if there's going to be a mod for that. Otherwise, you could be running what was I saying? For Brimstone, basically, with Quasar or Blastar, or maybe you could run 3 immortal weapons if you fast track your um your Lady Bullseye, right, to unlock with the Sigil store. That you could add one of the other characters in there as well, just for a second team of Stormbound that might do something. But there's going to be 3 raids for this. It's interesting because it's run for 6 days total. Alliances receive enough raid keys to launch once every 2 days. Now, this does not mean that it is a 48-hour raid. I think it's a 24-hour raid. It's just that you're only going to get enough keys to do it once every 2 days. That's kind of the indication that I'm getting from this. Also, raid sim feature will be disabled, and I'm perfectly okay with this. This is manual. It's not every day. It's every 2 days, right? So doing a manual, this is maybe a framework of something that they could do going forward, because I think a lot of people can agree that doing manual raids every single day is kind of crap, especially when it's the same stuff. But I wouldn't mind special event content like this to be run manual, as long as it's not every single day, right? Like every 2 days or every 3 days. This would actually be really interesting content. So I kind of applaud them for doing something a little bit different. It's kind of like an individual trial, but it's more in a raid format. And we'll see how this ends up going next week on Tuesday. I just kind of wanted to remind people that if they wanted to kind of make sure that they have things available, that they're actually ready for this, that you should be thinking about this now if you haven't already, especially for this Stormbound trait. I think that's where people might have a little bit of difficulty. You can see that Thunderstrike actually is part of that Stormbound trait as well. But it does seem that Quasar and Blastar should be available at least on the chapter nodes as well. Oh, maybe what they meant is that Thunderstrike is the only one actually available on the Stormbound. Blastar available on the Conquerors node, and then Quasar on the Harbinger node. For some reason, I was thinking that they would all be available on all of that. I guess we'll end up seeing. I don't have Thunderstrike built yet, so I'm like, do I need to? Uh maybe. Maybe 3, 7, 8, 9 if I get Lady Bullseye. 38 shards. I mean, I will be able to unlock her, but I don't know if, like, how good are immortal weapons with a 3-piece. If anyone actually has them unlocked, let me know. Like, is there anything that they can do? I don't know what their kits are on it. I don't know their kits. 3 immortal weapon. I think that requires a 4-piece team though. So without Swordmaster or Steel Serpent, I think I'm dead in the water here. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Anyways, that's your Friday video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Get ready for things next week. I've talked at length. I'm not going to talk again. Oh, last thing I actually wanted to point out. Multiversal null. I wonder if they're going to shorten this milestone down, because I really feel that the progress being made on this is not so good. Will we clear this all in time? Only time will tell early next week. But a lot of people have been struggling with this, and I've already talked at length a couple of videos now about the null event, so I'm not going to be doing it again here today, but we'll see what ends up happening later on this weekend and early next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Maybe a continuation of Thanksgiving weekend and Black Friday and all that stuff for some people. Otherwise, I'll see you guys all on the next video.
And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.